TechCrunch.
Hey, once again, TechCrunch. We got Andrey Verbitsky of KAYAK Russia. And, KAYAK is huge worldwide. And I think it was one of the first international travel brands to go to open up in Russia. Is that right?
Booking probably was before that. Yeah, Booking considered to be travel related and it's international.
But somehow you're still not that huge in Russia as compared to other countries.
We just launched a year ago. We're enjoying pretty steep growth, but there's a lot of work ahead of us, sure.
So compared to the local people, like one-two trip or, I don't know, anyway, any day, avia sales,
right.
You name it.
So it's, before I answer that question, there's a little bit of a terminology we need to set it down. So we are not selling tickets, we're not selling hotels, we're aggregating the content from all those guys. So in this case, all the names that you mentioned, they are our partners. Our service is not going to be complete without those partners. So we pull all these people together for flights, hotels, car providers, and then we do a search for the consumer, where to find the right ticket and where to buy it. It's almost like a matrix that we built in front of them. So local champions, like you mentioned, anyway, any day, one-two trip. These guys, the champions in flights. Booking.com is in hotels.
Absolutely.
So we kind of sitting next to them, helping them grow. We're one of the channels that they use. So our main competitor is probably a little different. Like it could be Yandex, could be Skyscanner. Those guys definitely,
Skyscanner is also Russian, I think.
Skyscanner is from Edinburgh, so it's a Scottish company.
Yeah, but they have something in Russia. An office
They came 4 years ago. They came quite early. We're just here, as I said, year and a half, year live. So we have this 3-year lag that we need to catch up with.
Right, and you're probably talking to your pals at KAYAK who are working in other markets. Are there any particular differences between those markets and the market here in Russia?
Well, the main difference market-wise is that Russia is still growing top line. We're not even talking about the migration from offline to online, but just in general, people flying more. There was a comment the other week that international travel grew 23% in a year. And comparing to a typical Western Europe story, which could be the best case, it will be stagnant. I mean, some of the markets like Greece or Spain, they're actually losing the top line. So from this perspective, Russia is amazing in terms of growth dynamic, and average check. So every time you get on a plane or you book a hotel, your average check is bigger than our neighboring stores in Western Europe.
Yeah, that's definitely an impressive market.
And we can see that new partners, new players are coming in. Obviously, as we know, in hotel business, it's being ruled by a Western player. In flight, I see that more and more OTAs, agencies, are interested in this space.
And what are you looking for at TechCrunch?
Well, Mike was kind enough to put a panel on the how to enter Russia. I think we've seen the first year of this growth, which is very critical period of the company, entering hitting the ground running kind of space. So from this perspective, I think we had something to contribute to this panel. That's actually an interesting development that I can comment about this year. That we're moving from the question of why Russia to how Russia. It's not even a question whether you need to do this business. It's more about how to approach it and how do you structure this type of opportunity for the global companies, which is the key thing. Half measures, half build products or teams.
Should we expect an inflow of global companies flowing into the Russian market?
Well, I earlier today I made a comment that the main competitor for those kind of companies sits back at the headquarters. So Russia need to compete with Turkey, India, maybe even China to some extent, right? So as long as this local team generate momentum and get that awareness and put that local market on the roadmap, I think that's going to happen.
But what's the key difference that makes Russia more attractive than other markets that you just mentioned?
Well, in our case, that was the space. I mean, we were a very particular company, right? We need to have this travel dynamic plus fragmentation on the market, that there is more than few agencies that provide the service.
Yeah.
If there is.
Can you think of any other market segments that would be just as attractive as travel?
Good question, but I tell you, there's something else I would comment on this particular question, is that there are different types of business models, right? There are some that kind of a virtual service, I would say Twitter, LinkedIn, SurveyMonkey we just talked about, right? They provide very critical piece of service, but they don't really touch the ground, right? There's no payment component, there's no fulfillment, there's customer service is very limited. So those guys probably going to come earlier because they just scale up much faster.
Right.
Instagram kind of players, those kind of.
Great. So I think you guys at the Startup Alley and watching TechCrunch online should consider some of the opportunities Andrey just mentioned, and probably you might find the next big international company willing to open up Russia for itself.
For sure.
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
TechCrunch.